you are promised growth, prosperity, and fertility in all things. So that's super, super dope. Your needs will be fulfilled and joy as well as satisfaction. Your original seeds were well planted. So it does tell me there's welcome back to your video. As we get started, definitely appreciate all of you guys tuning in today. Don't forget, if and when it resonates, to hit that thumbs up. It's like giving a boost of energy to the channel. We definitely appreciate it. You have major arcana starting out, and I set the intentions to do a 4-card spread, but I'll tell you right now, I was curious, so we're gonna look at the full deal. Even though the Emperor in that position tells us about consolidating, this is a consolidated reading, okay? Because I usually do like the Celtic spread or 10-card spread, but we do the 3 and the 4, and it's crazy. Look, you got the 4. So here we got the Empress, the Fool, the Lovers, the Emperor, and I love that because it's like the Princess and the King, and this is the King of Kings, right? When I learned tarot, people sometimes classify her as the Queen of Queens, which I would say that they all kind of like embody aspects of her, but it is her that is this like universal, innocent perfection of all that they master, right? She's just abundant. She doesn't try to. The Emperor has to consciously, you see how that heavy head, you know, heavy is the head with the crown. The Emperor probably has to consistently be aware, right? If nothing else, his position, as well as keeping the composure and the integrity of whatever it is that he has, where she has this abundant field of water and grass and things can grow. So that's how we start out your reading. There's something about, by the time we get here, it's a favorable thing. So it's not bad. This is the Emperor we're talking about. There's no room for growth. Like, we're consolidating and focusing on whatever it is that got us to this Emperor position, if that makes sense. He doesn't look to be whimsical or overly abundant and add anything else, because the Empress is cozy. There's cushion. Either people are supporting her or she just got more than enough. It's her vibe, it's her mentality, it's her perspective. But with the Emperor, it's more about taking responsibility, like as an adult, for yourself, people you depend on. And so it's even like, if you're needing help with that, coming in as, you know, the jack of all trade with the Fool card and making hard decisions, it asks us to even look to an Emperor in our environment. And so even if you don't have an Emperor, for those of you where this is definitely with these major arcana, it's like a big deal. So it could be like developmental, as far as like your overall purpose, for like my alchemists, or just those of you that are in a point of your life where you could be making some pivotal decisions, even if it's retiring or marriage. It's like something that's like super matters. And I feel that talking to married individuals, or someone who owns a business, a CEO, an entrepreneur, or someone that is at an advanced level in self-mastery and has took what the Empress has, and learned how to structure it in order to make it consistent, where it like runs, I don't want to say by itself, but seamlessly, because she's creative. This is growth. This is something that could even happen by chance, because fools get lucky. But the Empress sustains it and scales it, and that's very important. Even though sometimes when I hear creators saying those words, it could come off kind of cheesy when they're like, scale your business and all that kind of stuff. But in my few years of entrepreneurship, I will say, though it sounds cheesy, it is absolutely necessary, whether you're moving from Etsy to Amazon or taking it from Cash App to a business bank account. It's necessary, okay? As corny as it could be. Now, with the 4-card spread, just to give you guys, you know, a runabout, because I'm doing a full reading, I will go over anything that pops up in the area of love, since we do have the Lovers, literally, and friendship with the Empress and the Emperor, that could be a married couple, and I ain't gonna lie to you, the emperor is a husband, but usually someone else's husband and not the Corinth that's asking me the question. And the empress could very well be, you know, someone that may be creating something with this man, even if that's a child or this new beginning, a fresh start. I don't care if they're business partners. It just says that they're going to be damn good together in this business, as partners, and what they do on a intimate or sexual level is on them, but it doesn't say they're going to make any bad decisions. So don't go questioning your spouse about this super cool person they met at a convention. Okay. The Empress is also a wife. She doesn't have to be a wife yet, because the Empress is more of a behavior, but could represent a wife or a female, like in an authority position. And also we have Venus, we have Mars. So it talks about what they could be doing in the transits and how that's affecting us, because sometimes what Venus does is gives us those rose-colored glasses. We have maybe some extra cushion or some coins coming in, and we want to go out and, you know, turn up or whatever, get out the bed for once in a while. And there's a choice, a decision, or a person that could come up in that sort of scenario. And then the Emperor is here. You know what I'm saying? So we'll discuss that. Because these two are here, and we're talking about decision making, and I know for a fact when she comes up, if it's not marriage or your life purpose, it is about a creative project or something like that. So we'll go over finance, and then for your overall growth, because the Fool card coming out, when these cards all tell a story in the Fool's journey, for it to come out on the table was insane, and I can't let that go like unseen. The Fool would represent these cards. This story could represent kind of like what you need to let go of, where we should focus, how we can tap into our higher self, and the current phase that you're in, which I love that your current phase being the Empress is super dope, and I don't see anything dark. So let's go ahead and jump in it. The Empress shares that you are promised growth, prosperity, and fertility in all things. So that's super, super dope. Your needs will be fulfilled, and joy as well as satisfaction. Your original seeds were well planted. So it does tell me there's something about the past that could have been a new decision, an idea. This is a friendship or something you gave birth to or are given, that has some promises of, like, you know, on the right path. Okay. So don't sleep on your ideas. We did have a reading where we were talking about dream interpretation, journaling, and things of that nature. This is freedom and growth. Those are the key elements. So most of my people that are considering friendship to marriage, most of my people that are considering taking a creative project and making it lucrative, that is freedom and growth. Like, these are the keys to freedom and growth. Like, there's no way to break out of the matrix, to cube the circle, or square the circle, the square, whatever they say. There's not a way to do that without any aspect of the 22 major arcanas, but most definitely your choices, your decisions, and this master of masters. Okay. Specifically, I mean, you can't surpass the Empress, because you to pass the Empress says that you're never connected with whatever your higher self is, right? The pregnant belly could sometimes be the compass and the guide and the direction. Even on the Kabbalah, it represents something about the seraph. Did I say it right? And I have recently, in my own opinion, so don't jump down my throat, kind of connected that to Archangel Raphael and the Six of Swords, because I saw this alleged one-eyed angel, and it's just an ideology that I'm working on, so we'll park it like that. But there's no way to connect fully as an alchemist, the magician, the divine child, a chosen one, and all of these star seeds, even, because the Empress is connected to the Seven Sisters. Most of those planets, those collectives, you know, are cousins, homies, allies, and sometimes enemies. So long story short, there's not a way to be any of these things that we strive to understand through divination tools without the Empress energy. So pure emotion, deep intuitive understanding through a passionate approach to life. Power of love is twofold. So it's like divine and human. I love that. So your guides, or this person, this situation, It may be, you know, something non-physical, which I was looking at the Six of Swords, and then also something that is human, which is super cool. And it also talks about it uniting. Okay. So how are you nurturing and mothering qualities? How are they being used right now? That's the questions that you can be asked. What creative projects are growing and developing? What are you attracting to you? And I've noticed that I've done more pick-a cards in reference to your higher selves and what you're attracting, because we do have the buck moon coming up on the 21st. Even though for some of us, full moons are about letting go. If you're anything like me, for some reason things come in. Now, I won't say that they're always amazing. They do come off their way at first. So sometimes those gifts that I receive around the full moon, it's like trick or treat, you know, so just be mindful of that. Who is inspiring and nurturing you? That's a good question to ask. What person in your life is inspiring you beyond your current situation? As for me, I have recently started following business moguls that did things themselves, that forged their own way. And as much as I have been a participant in Black entertainment television, or as you guys know it as BET, I haven't watched it in like 10 to 15 years. But growing up, you know, I was there for 106 and Park. I was there for the little animated Frida before animation even got super cool. And I came across Sheila today in reference to some of her sports deals, tech businesses, and investing. And I just listened to what she had to say. And what I appreciated from her is that she's very humble and she's very intelligent and understands that people do matter. Your following, your clientele, it matters, because I mean, I just point blank period, I think that it lacks class to treat people like crap anyway. But to see how far she's come and all that she's accumulated, and to start with, you know, you got to get people that follow the vision, and you have to, you know, work with them and make sure that they're team players, or even teach them how to be that. So I appreciated the humility of what she had to say. But what stuck out the most is when she talked about how she did it. I could read between the lines. She didn't take any shit. She didn't let people change her mind. And though she's humble enough to work with others because she may need them as key players in her visions, it was always about her and her vision. And everything else was kind of like next in line to what she could offer as far as advice for young entrepreneurs, or people that, you know, even have millions of dollars that may want to get $1 billion. And it made me think about Jay-Z, because I was like, I know that they may have some dealings, even if it's unfavorable. There's no way that he couldn't have come into contact with her or have had words with her. But the sports, the social events, she owns a golf course, and yada, da, da. So long story short, my point is, it is relevant. Who's inspiring you could tell a lot about where you're looking to go. So if you don't have inspirations and you don't care about shit, that's cool. I mean, even me as a reader that just made a public announcement about, I'm not going to lie to people or coddle them. If I notice that people are becoming robots to certain energies that we're in and they won't move out of them, I will remove myself. I'm not coddling anybody, and I'm not selling dreams. And I noticed that the collective that I could have started with on YouTube, a lot of them seem to be in a loop of that energy, and I'm not looping that energy. So it just gave me, what's that lady's name? She's a coach and a therapist, Azana, Fix My Life. I watched her on YouTube because I don't watch a lot of TV. And I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I was like, how many hits am I going to take, or how is it going to affect me to walk my own path and focus more on my spiritual purpose, as well as, you know, like the lady from BET said, trying to be flexible to employees as well as clients or whatnot to drive the business, because you don't have a business if ain't nobody feeding into it. But I'm an alchemist. Like, that's less important to me, because it's like I have God itself, I have source, and then I have magic. So it's like I don't really sweat or lose sleep behind supporters, because I learned that from Jay-Z. He wasn't on social media for 10 to 15 years and still came back from like 500 million to like 2.5 billion. So anyway, it's not about money, it's the principle, it's the point that you don't have to feed into social norms, and you can exceed others that are very social and very trendy or whatnot. So my point was, the Elena, whatever the lady name is, no disrespect, Ayana, Fix My Life, she's not a coddler. She is even more direct than I am. And can I say this on my channel? I guess I could, because I ain't opposed to beefing. You know, people blow up after they beef. I don't want to beef with this sister, but personally, I feel that she kind of toxic. And haven't healed from things herself, because she's overly aggressive and sometimes lack tact. But she made it to where she is. I don't know this lady's story. I respect it. And so I'm not being derogatory, but she is a bit harsh, is my point. And I was like, you ain't even that tough. So if this lady could be less like the norm for a coach that sits and asks you questions and coddles you, there is your window. Look at her for inspiration, if that's the direction that you choose to take. So that's what I'm giving to you guys as an example. You don't have to want to be a business owner. You don't have to be an entrepreneur. You could be retired, married, just looking to tarot for entertainment. But if any decisions or new opportunities come in your marriage or in your life, some of this advice could help, especially when it comes to decision makings, new beginnings, or bad ideas. Because in esoteric teachings, the fool sometimes represents a bad idea, but I know how comical the other side could be. A bad idea could be procreating in the first place. And I know a lot of people who feel that way, even though I don't. I'm a mother, I don't take it back. I can understand the friends that I have that says I will not bring innocence into this craziness, right? So either way, in the first position, my Empress, back to her, talks about your abilities are needed to bring greater efficiency to bear. It's a strong discipline here as you feel the calling to further the progress of civilization along the ideals of the Greeks, especially Plato. So for some of you guys, you can expand on philosophy for deeper interpretation. Education and knowledge are your tools. Your motivation must strive for an understanding of God, for some of you, and the nature of spirituality if man is to progress. Now, because there's because she represents the material plane, and we're talking about spirituality, and then we go way over here to the Emperor, and then we go way right here to either something neutral or duality. And usually spirituality is non-duality and neutral. See what I mean? So it could even talk about like where we were speaking last week about the hermit along his journey, when you got all of those aces in that reading, and you got the magician with the Ace of Pentacles, the sword came up, the wand came up. It was talking about value, right? What's valuable to you? Is it success, or is it like finding the answers, the mysteries or whatever? And then finding the answers, the only time finding answers would come up is when you need time to dedicate to higher learning or to expand spirituality. It's hard to do that when you're in the world, working 12 hours a day, stressed out, underpaid, with 8 kids, and an ex that gives you gray hair. Wouldn't you think it would be harder for the hermit? Which is why isolation is key for most spiritual beings. The monks, the priests, the priestess, you don't see them often with family. Some, yes, most no, and they're isolated on the mountain or wherever they are in solitude, because that takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of focus, it takes a lot of energy. And for some of us, we're in the world with partners, kids, and careers. So when the hermit is asked what's most important, that could be a difficult decision. Like, where does your integrity lie? And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm so spiritual and have activated my light body, and the Holy Spirit is with me. Like, God itself is aware of my being. Not that he or it isn't aware of all of us, I'm just saying I'm in there. I'm sure. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. But I'm not gonna deny myself the honesty of I have to leave something for others because the world is changing in beautiful ways, but at the same time, it's becoming a little bit complicated for some in America as far as housing in California. Um, the the hourly pay or annual pay versus the cost of living. So I'm not going to shy away from the fact that we have a lot of requests in life to be comfortable. I'm not shy about that. Don't have to humble myself to wanting the best foods, wanting clean air, possibly out of the city, wanting to take time out and have vacations, wanting to be comfortable within our home because I rarely leave the motherfucker, to have reliable cars. And I can go down the list as far as like self-care products. Even if I don't go to the nail shop every week or two, it costs, man, to have those butters and all those tools and 30,000 gel paints. And some people may say you don't need all of that. Well, why not? I incarnated into a physical dimension with shit that I can have if I'd like it. And it's not bad that I wish to experience it. So if somebody were to ask me, what's more important, your spiritual journey or the materials, I say both. I'm never going to pick or choose because I don't have to. And my spiritual journey costs. Them crystals expensive as fuck. Have you guys purchased herbs and spices that may not have been available to you locally? Candles are not cheap, and I burn them all day, every day. And maybe that saves me on my electricity bill. So do not be fooled when I say I would like an extreme amount of financial backing. Because the things that I like cost. This Herkimer stone, I'm sure together was over thousands of dollars, because a good Herkimer stone, maybe this big, you can get for 90. You like this size, you can get that for about $90 at your local store. A real authentic, genuine Herkimer stone of good quality or clarity or whatnot. So, and that's spiritual. If I want Herkimer stones on my forehead when I meditate, if I want cinnamon sticks this big to sit on my wood table, so that I could feel all earthy like the old school readers back in the day, because I noticed that a lot of the older readers, they like wood, and I was more of a marble girl. But I'm switching it up. You know, you can switch it up. So yeah, that costs. This plant ain't plastic. This is a real plant. So I got to buy shit to keep it alive. Do you get my drift? Cool. Then I also recently came across, and I know some of you, especially my readers that are in the audience, when we talked about the three swords, which were the three oaths, and how a lot of humans and starseeds have reincarnated to remove beliefs that are no longer needed. So oaths and promises that we made in past lives by our choosing to be a part of groups and different social settings and societies. The three swords with the with the Hierophant was just telling us about obedience, poverty, and love. Now, I'll take love, but I have never been an obedient person in my life. And it's not even just my fault, because if you're into astronomy and astrology, my natal chart said that I'm probably going to struggle with that because of where some Mercury placements fell and some Aquarius placements fell. And then you put Pluto with Scorpio, like most millennials. And then what else? Saturn in Scorpio. And then Capricorn was in some shit. And then Lilith in Pisces. I'm the lady who tells Adam to fuck himself. So God had to create Eve because I said, God, fuck that. Right? So you're talking about a person like that. Yeah, I'm just not. So if the oaths in the modern society and even some traditional societies involve obedience, regardless of because I'm for you guys know that I was a law student. I have a what do they call it? It's a pillow in my back pocket in case I get bored, right? So I naturally am for fairness, justice, integrity, and all that kind of stuff. And if you tell me to be obedient just because, that's not going to work. Who are you, right? I don't know who you are. Are you fair? Like, I could only be obedient to something or someone that I knew through and through is going to be fair. No bias, no fear, no favor, no judgment. And the Hierophant is not that. So I would never be obedient to the Hierophant, I don't believe. And poverty, fuck that. I don't care who you are. If that's y'all thing, well, we got to suffer to get to the other side. I'm not going where y'all going. So respect, but I'm not fucking with it. And then love. You have to explain what love is, because even Satanists say that love is the law. The Holy Spirit to me is love, the trinity of a human connecting with a divine being, and that third thing that they create, the mind, body, soul, the maiden, mother, crone, the Father, Son, Holy Ghost, like, so God, the Word, the body, and then the manifestation of it in movement, which is like spirit. I'm for all that. So if that's love, cool. But if they say you got to accept all three and not just one, fuck that. And so here we are in the age of Aquarius. I am, pretty strong Aquarian energy from moon to on down. So the long story short, spirituality, progress, understanding, education, and knowledge are your tools. Now, by the time my long-winded ass get to the Emperor, there's going to be something about how you delegate your education and your tools, because she's abundant, she's growing, she got lucky, she did something on a whim, but it's going to mature and it's going to get to a phase where decisions are going to have to be made. And the unfortunate aspect of the Fool and sometimes the Magician, how we lack consistency, how we lack commitment, how we keep starting over because we're so lucky, because we're so good at new beginnings. If it gets rocky, if hard decisions come up, this could be marriage, this could be taking a friendship to a relationship, this could be a new business, this could be just where you are in life. What have you just started, and how many things have you started? Have you gotten to the finish line on any of them? What choices or decisions could have helped? What people came into your life didn't? You feel me? So kind of like some questions like that, all right? Now, this is your call to accept leadership and responsibility, to organize and move forward with mental goals. Meditate on the Empress to find guides who may want to use this archetype to help expand you, because this is the expansion. The established, all-capable female, not the damsel in distress. I want to go over that just for a second, because we think of the Empress, we think of abundance, we think of a princess, right? Most of y'all think of a queen, great, but she's the wife, she's the, her husband, or this is just the archetype, okay? Because some of us don't even live in countries where we have kings and queens. But her energy is just that she's spoiled and supported, or just don't want for shit. Like, it's cool. It represents that season. Like, on Thursdays and Fridays, most of y'all get paid because Americans looked at the past calendar from the pagans and many other countries, what is now South America or even Africa, and they set up their systems based on the movements of the planets and the goddesses and deities or whatnot. So Thursday, Friday, everybody in a good mood, but come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is some shit, right? You wonder why that is? It's a program. You wouldn't have been like that if you wouldn't have been taught to be like that. But it's all good. My point was, she is not a damsel in distress, because she, to me, is what the Queen of Wands becomes. Because I've heard stories where the Empress and the Emperor is the same motherfucker. I've also heard stories where the lovers are one person, and it tells you about the different aspects of you, your left brain and your right brain, the lovers and the Two of Cups. But that's just me. Don't listen to me. It does also interpret two relationships and multiple peoples. Your lovers could also be not only intimate lovers, but family members, people that we've had events and interactions with. The lady that hit your car last year or scratched your door at Target. You guys, the fate was written, so they say nothing is by chance. And so there's no person that has ever crossed your path and wasn't supposed to, even you guys that manifested this video, and we're all sitting together right now. So I don't want to take away from that, but I do want to emphasize on her not being some damsel in distress. Okay, so for some of you here, this could even be about masculine and feminine energy. The market, the region that you're in, I'd have to look at some other cards. I don't know if things are competitive. I don't know how the marriage is going, how the friendship is going, or the phase in your life is usually what the Empress does represent. And then she's next to the Fool, which talks about something maybe new to you. And since the Fool is next to the Lovers, it could talk about a bad idea or a good idea. Because like I said, in esoteric or mysticism, which is where tarot cards came from, like Judaism, occultism, or whatever, because to them, it sometimes meant a bad idea. I cannot see that. But in modern society, oh, the Fool is a new beginning. It's a companion. It's the start of something great. And I learned it as a bad idea. And I don't trust that it's right there next to the Lovers, which is why I wanted to expand, take more cards, but see how I got through all of the information with these 4 cards since I initially set the intentions for a 4-card spread. And we're doing all right. I don't think we went that far yet. So that was how we started off, of course, with the Empress. Now, so for financial, it talks about the current financial situation. You do have room to grow. That's good. It's fertile. I don't care if it's just energetic, mental, you got an extra couple of dollars, and or it's just life is easier for you right now than it could be, than it may be in the future, or than it was in the past. So either way, just trust what the Empress say, and don't be sitting there talking about what you ain't got and how that, no, my shit fucked up right now and all that, because it done been worse, or it could be worse, so just chill. In a love reading, the Empress actually represents your person. And I can raise my hand and attest to a relationship and how that would go with me if some dude came in my environment as the Empress. Unless he was a supporter, like an investor in my creative project, which my partner has done that, was the whole, his brain was the whole thing behind my first drop for Astronaut Hoochie. So I take that back. There's nothing wrong with that, but we do still have complications sometimes, because like a couple of months ago, he called me an alpha female, and I was like, have you lost your mind? I take pride in being like a Sigma, which is like a super cool beta that probably would whoop your ass, you know? I take pride in Sigma. And Jesus itself was like a beta male. So I don't like alpha. I mean, no disrespect to y'all alphas sitting here. I don't like that responsibility. Feel me? I like to be looked at undersold. I want to be the princess. And I always say that. I'm the princess. My mother is probably still alive somewhere. And until, like, usually an older female in the family passes away, all y'all princesses. I don't care if you 25, 35, or 55 right now, because we're actually royalty. It's how we look at it in my family. So it's no rush for me to try to overthrow, you know, who's in whatever seat. You know, we're not toxic like that. But yeah, so with the Empress here representing your person, even though, can y'all believe I was looking at the analytics, because I'm going into my 5th year on YouTube, and I was trying to put together a video to kind of just talk to some people who could be interested in being content creators and my experience, right? So I was looking over some analytics, and I had no idea that over half of my audience is male. I would have never guessed that. I've talked to a handful of men one-on-one, and even for personal services, I can count 10, no more than 20. And I'm talking about out of thousands of people that I have done actual business with, not the 5 million viewers, right? I never knew that. So shout out to you guys, and I will stop speaking as if everybody listening to me is a chick. My apologies. And other readers that are here, take that into consideration. Look at those analytics, because I have a shit ton of millennials, which I'm proud of. Some Gen Z's, X, I get them confused. Yeah, the new ones. Okay. But yeah, over half is dudes. And I don't know if that's just, I can't remember if it's just for 2024 or period, but I was shocked, and I was like, I will put that in my back pocket. So respect to the fellas. So your person coming off as the Empress could represent the most personal context for them. And that makes sense. you'd be surprised, because I'm only using this as an example so that you're open to interpretation. I want you to go with your own intuition, not all the time what just comes out of my mouth, because we just went on a whole spiel about business projects. Some people here ain't got no fucking project, but some people here could resonate with the crisis that is going on right now between some men and women within that 25 to 45-year-old gap, that's struggling with this soft girl. And now they got, do you know, did I tell y'all I was paying a bill out shopping with my kids, and I heard a guy in the cell phone store say that he was in his soft boy era, and I looked at him, and I just turned back around to mind my business. But I was like, what? A soft boy era? Okay. So go ahead. And when the lady asked him, what does that mean? I'm lying. I did answer. I be putting myself, I should have my ass kicked by now. Because I did say, what did I say? I said something in the lines of, oh, it wasn't that bad. I said because the feminine energy is expanding on the planet, which the Empress does represent the planet. So the feminine energy, and this isn't a lie. I mean, if you worked at NASA, you would know what I'm saying. The Empress, the Earth is changing, right? The energy, the frequency, even the thin lining or the light body around the planet, all of that. So you will notice some changes in humans. That's a fact. But you should have saw the look on his face, like, you jigaboo or whatever. Because I was like, the planet doing it. The planet, oh, I don't think men like when you use feminine. So if you can call yourself in the soft boy era, don't get mad when I say the planet is enhancing the feminine energy. Don't look at me crazy, because divine beings are aware of and accept that they are feminine and masculine. That's what makes you divine, being neutral. If you say because I have a penis, I am masculine and that's it, you're not a divine being, and I don't think you're going to go as far as you think you're going. But that's not my call. Keep it going on your path. You could definitely be a god of whatever it is you end up being. That is true, but it won't be divine. It'll just be the god of whatever you are. So the next position, if we were doing love, this would represent your physical or sexual connection, which is why some of you, I think this is friendship. So if you're in a marriage, y'all need to focus on being friends and like going on dates and trying to love each other, because it's getting possibly real comfortable and consistent and everybody just doing their jobs, and something could be missing. I don't know. Okay. And when something missing, depending on y'all level of integrity with each other, that's when we start filling in gaps, you know, with projects or with other motherfuckers. So just be, I ain't putting that on you. Just saying it came up. So there's that, right? Others of you could be single, and this is about marriage, which you totally fall in alignment with responsibilities, social norms, and gender wars, right? For my finance babes, the Fool card represents an area of opportunity. So as we talk about the opportunities the Fool gives us, this is the new beginnings that are being presented. It talks about fresh challenges also. So I ain't gonna lie to you and be like, oh, it's a new start, it's abundant, it's great. Fresh challenges means that you may even be leveling up, and with that comes another challenge. And maybe you have to have the right mindset for that. You definitely have to do like your individual soul work before you just jump into that kind of shit, because I've experienced it, and I'll be honest with you, things change. In my negative victim mindset, it's like, damn. And I've heard somebody else say it, so don't feel attacked. When you said it, I felt where you were coming from, because I've said it. If she's here, or that may have been on another social app and not y'all so good, but this lady was like, I want to be, like, I've had things succeed, but it's like they succeed and flop. So she talked about wanting consistency. Me too. Like, some things are super good, like with this Empress, and then there's some things that come up. And that happens all the time. So some of us feel like there's this one day of a higher level of success where it ain't back to rock bottom so fast, or trying something else so fast. And I do understand that. But the Fool could represent challenges that lead to making decisions like that based on your perspective. You don't have to see that as rock bottom. You can look in the environment and see what you have to do something with and move forward. As for me, when the car say abundant, but you ain't got $2 in your pocket, it's just saying, like, you watching this video right now, you could be on the internet doing research, you could be filling out applications. For me, it was, damn, you got a drop coming in August, but I don't have the PDFs for my logo, because when you get embroidery or when you get professional screen printing and stuff like that, you can't just send them no bullshit. Them people be wanting like PDFs, and I gotta have the top layer of an image. Like if they're printing it, it's different. Like each piece gotta, you know what I'm saying? Or I've done logos before, and I've had logos done where you have to save it in a certain format to be able to edit it, to be able to print it, to be able to cut it. And so if you don't have the money for the printer, or if you don't have, finance to buy new equipment, have you at least tried to look into some of those things? Okay, and now I just thought about it. Okay, I did my own logo and I do my own graphics, but I didn't go to school for that. I used to do music. And so I don't take L's. I haven't lost not once. Anything that I put my energy in, any talent that I have or hobby, from me trying to be like this local music artist to law school, I took business school, I've done mystery schools, hypnosis therapy, like all of that stuff is simultaneously all being used at any point, at any time. And when you go to my Etsy store, you can get help starting up a business, you can get legal aid, or you can buy some hoodoo candles. You think it's a game? I'm not leaving shit behind. If you are the jack of all trades, the original saying said, and master of many. It was never really jack of all trades and master of none. Some negative motherfucker made that shit up. So my point is, with the food comes new challenges. And if you don't have your head on straight, you're going to see it as something that breaks you emotionally, breaks you mentally. And like I said, just God forbid you got a job and kids and relationship issues and other things, family issues, generational curses or traumas that while you in your feelings could attack you and sneak up on you. You can't, I'm not trying to tell you what to do or be cold, but that's not the kind of behavior that a person running a business has to have. You can't be temperamental and normal. I tell it to my clients all the time. If you want to start a business, I'm going to tell you right now, and you're going to have to agree to it and like sign your name on the bottom of the line that I'm not normal, and I won't take my approach to entrepreneurship as a regular human. You have to be superhuman to stay mentally focused enough to start a business. Just like the president. Some of us couldn't be no fucking president of no fucking country or even no company because we have meltdowns and mood shifts. We feel defeated, and I'm one of them. And I'm working through that so that I can tell other people how I did it, or just give them reassurance that you can have those vulnerable moments and still, get on top of the game. So I'm just letting y'all know, in case you don't know, because I do have some goofy motherfuckers that come to me for help. And it's like, stop playing with me. I treat people like y'all serious. I treat you guys like I got treated in law school, how I got treated in business school. I don't speak Ebonics and talk to y'all like we cousins. And I don't appreciate when people give me their hard-earned money and think we friends. I'm very professional. So have more respect for yourselves too. If you go to, some Forbes Fortune 500 or some licensed counselor that your job pays through insurance, I don't think you go in there shucking and jiving with them. So y'all, please stop shucking and jiving with small business owners. Like, it's ghetto. Another thing that the Fool talks about is leaping into a new phase of life, returning to the child in you. That could be important. Some of us, we get too serious, whatever the case may be, and it may be hindering this abundance or whatnot. All right. Launch into your new adventure totally unafraid of consequences. And I'm going to tell you who can do that. A down fool can do it, and somebody who tired. Because when you've done it every which way you can, and you've tried the game that I just gave y'all, be level-headed and all of those shit, it's going to come a time where even when you do all that shit, some shit going to happen. And then you ain't going to even be mad. You're going to be numb. You just going to sit there. and you ain't gonna give a fuck about shit. You can get hit by a train and wouldn't give a fuck. That is just as good to me, as long as you don't go out and jump in front of a train. But it to me, that's justice. That's, hey, as long as you're unafraid of consequences and can take risk for a new adventure, that's cool with me. And I appreciate being in that phase. Like, you just get so tired. Like, you didn't have so many fucking twists and turns and you don't care. And some of you guys could be going into that energy, or the opposite, where I got some people in the audience in a psychological state of indecision, and it's because of doubt, next to the Lover's card. So your passions could have been raised to a higher level, and there's some sort of doubt. Like, you that I'm speaking to in this situation may have experienced some level of success or seen something work, right? Through some kind of way, through another, your neighbor's been married 50 years, and so that to you it is possible, or you've had some experiences where you just know that it could work. However, in elevating, it does talk about having some sort of doubt. And others of you, it just talks about expecting a miracle. Experience life from moment to moment and stop trying to plan everything out. Expect a miracle. That is big, because when it comes to decision making, when it comes to what's happening next, when it comes to needing to get into that childlike energy, that is exactly how I took off on YouTube to begin with. It's harder for me now, having been successful on YouTube, and then like coming back after 2 years trying to see what's up. I didn't give a fuck about content creating. I didn't know that people even did spirituality on YouTube. My kids watched YouTube, and then I took the remote, found that people talk tarot on here, and watched it for 2 or 3 months, and then said, I want to try it. And then when I tried it, I think it was a month, 2. Some of y'all know, y'all remember Pisces TV in 2019. It was like 1 or 2 months. I got monetized, and I got like a $2,000 check. And I had no fucking idea what I was doing. I had no aspirations to be a content creator. I didn't sit watching numbers. I didn't market. I didn't advertise. I just opened up my computer, went on Facebook Live and said, hey, y'all, I'm going on YouTube. I'm going to flip some cards to a bunch of people that knew me as a football mom and a law school student. Like, this motherfucker is on there playing Cleo, because they know I got a lot of sense. I'm very smart. I'm a normal, practical, almost conservative person. And then out of nowhere, I'm on YouTube burning sage, flipping tarot cards and shit. And they have no idea that I got my first deck of tarot cards like in my early 20s. But even before then, buying crystals and visiting any metaphysical shop in any city that I was in is something that I have done since I had money in my pocket. So we're talking like 15. And even before that, I was like Jesus freak, thinking that he was coming back and God and all. I was just kind of vulnerable and innocent and got sucked up in religion. So I have had a whole lifetime of actually being what I've become. That's why I minored in theology. But my point is, I didn't give a fuck about none of the analytics. And not only did I get monetized, but I have videos, and some of y'all know, where I got 30 and 40,000 views within that 6 months. I think I started in the summer. Cause my anniversary is June 22nd. And I was making money by September, because then my brother passed like mid-September, and I almost lost it. And y'all kept me together. But it wasn't even 3 months. It was 1 or 2 months. And I think it was me and Lainey, because Lainey was just starting out, and I just saw her collective and my collective was like the same collective. And I ain't gonna lie, when my numbers started going up like that, I was just looking at other people's to see like what the fuck was going on. And I know that it was me and her. Like Pisces, what's that lady name? I forgot. A lot of other Pisces channels hadn't even started yet, because some of them were a part of our collective. And on my channel, like, I'm so proud of you. This is so cool. I want to start a channel one day. And then how you stay humble and just like respect the collective. I wasn't even on YouTube, and then they became the next big things. You know what I'm saying? And it's all respect. So my point is, expect a miracle and stop trying to plan everything out. For some of you, now if you know you don't plan the goddamn thing and you overly optimistic, then you know damn well I ain't saying that to you. Okay. The Fool in the second position talks about fortunate circumstances behind you, natural ability to provide with the Emperor right here, and resourceful material ease, good health. That's what you have. So some of you are attracting investors, going to be the investor, or just need reassurance to lighten up because shit is cool. And I think you know that. Some of us just like to micromanage life because none of you are like severely struggling or lacking anything with these particular cards. I don't believe. And if you are, don't say, well, this reading must not be for me. It may be a shit ton of advice in this reading for you. So just be cool. The Lovers is here. And so for some of you guys, the Lovers represents your emotional and spiritual connection. Because we talked before about the physical and sexual connection for the, if y'all in a relationship or dating. And this was kind of like friendship. Now, the emotional and spiritual connection, when I see this ladder in this particular deck, it does tell me a lot about judgment, and judgment is about past life stuff. So some of you guys, you are making a decision either together, or it's going to require what each aspect of this card represents. Okay, so your left brain, your right brain, the past, present, and future is what we're talking about when it comes to emotional and spiritual connection. You guys got the Lovers. Now, if you had the Hierophant, the High Priestess, or something like that, I would have said it was probably deep and all blah, blah, blah. But Lovers could be hit and runs, one night stands. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Lovers are just motherfuckers that come up in your life. And for some of you, you could end up being intimate with this person. Doesn't say it's a guarantee. All right. But good news. Sorry. I mean, I did say all of that, but you still have the Empress and the Emperor in the reading. So it's no way for me to call it, because the Fool is definitely a one night stand, and he literally jumping out the fucking window like this was somebody else person and he was over there with him. Right. So get that clear that I'm just going to be super general in this situation. For those of you where it's finances, the Lovers represents the risk. The risk is with the Fool on one side and the Emperor on the other. So what does that tell me? And I'm not a misogynist. I am a girl's girl. Don't get me wrong. But if she's looking at the spirit, and then on the other end, he's looking at the physical, and I have the Fool on one side that's expecting a miracle, and I have the Emperor on the other side that's trying to consolidate and actually make hot grease cook. I'm just going to leave that there. So people don't think, oh, why couldn't the girl make a good decision because she intuitive? Okay. All right. I ain't said nothing. I just said that. It represents a risk of some sort in your spiritual development. It talks about what you should focus on. And for some of us, the Lovers represents us focusing on our choices, our decisions. It talks about that Hierophant stuff. If you are extra religious, your conscience is going to beat your ass. You probably going to not like my readings, or I'm going to sound like the devil's advocate, because the Lovers shares the vow of love is the fruit of obedience and poverty. So I think love is the fruit of the Holy Spirit, transmuting bad cells and memories out your brain while you sleep. Because they do stuff like that. Them star collectives, them Andromedons, the Pleiades, and all this stuff y'all sit on here like y'all truly believe in, those beings literally do connect with people, and they pull up. This ain't just some Star Wars shit we'll be talking about because it sound cool. So love ain't the fruit of obedience and poverty for me, but some aspects of tarot say that's exactly what it is. And it says that you may have been offered two paths. Now, I ain't no damn fool. I just told you them two paths. This path, I like that path. This path got a whole motherfucking 24 more flows to go, and it ain't no guarantee that he or she is going to get through it. All I do know is that it's potential that when he jump out this window, he can start, or she can start seeing tools and symbols and signs and synchronicities. And that's how you become a magician. But to understand how to use them motherfuckers is how you get to the Empress. You can get them aces all day long, but if you don't know how to use it, you just walking around with tools. So, hey, you could be offered two paths, okay? And it's time for your choice. Resist and I said that, resist the temptation to change. Stop starting over. Stop redecorating. You know, and Spirit could say that to me too, like, stop changing shit. And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm trying to toot my own horn, but I think if you watch my channel, I get better. I don't just randomly do goofy shit because it's important to me not to. Some of us seek the union of your material self-conscious feelings, right? So if you get a new choice versus whoever I think you know this person, it says your material self-conscious, because you're a spiritual person. And I ain't trying to be the devil's advocate, but I don't know if woke and broke really pan out sometimes, because then we just been talking about alphas and betas and, you know, feminine and masculine, and I don't think no broke woke alpha male gonna do too well with being taken care of and nurtured like somebody his mom. But it's like, what else am I supposed to do? Because if I don't try to nurture this situation or show grace and love you, we're going to both have a sit down about your contributions. Or maybe not. Some people just want a body in the bed, and it's okay if you like taking care of people who grown. Your relationships mirror your own inner sense of worth. I respect that for whatever it's worth. The relationship, your business, the project, it's mirroring what you think of yourself. So when I said I cut off, when I saw no growth, I wasn't needed. You just want me to keep repeating myself so I can be in the loop with you motherfuckers? It's not happening. So that's not even just my self-worth. It's, I love money. I love what works. I'm autistic. I don't like change. I got Asperger's. But I'm willing to change and lose clients behind my path, like my spiritual path, and trusting that, you know, God is amazing and I'm amazing, and the Holy Spirit in my body, and I'm being guided by archangels and ascended masters that truly do exist. Because I ain't gonna lie, most of y'all honestly do just think they characters that make you feel better when you talk about it. But if you met any of these conscious beings, because I don't think they're gonna come to you in a body, but if you do merge with them energetically or spiritually, or get messages from them in dreams, or start having hyperactivity within your body or around you, I'm a roll with that. So if it means I gotta be woke and broke, fuck it. I ain't on no wheel. I ain't no motherfucker. I ain't entertaining no clowns. That's what I say. Entertainers, the reason why I'm not like really butthurt about not being a celebrity, because I'm absolutely positive I could rap Nicki Minaj under a bus. But I respect her, and I love Lil' Kim too. And like, I think Nicki Minaj is a better lyricist, but Lil' Kim was a better act. And I could be on a stage with either of them, and you couldn't tell who was who, right? But I'm not tripping on my success at this point of my life, not coming from entertainment, because I'm royalty first, and people entertain us. So I wasn't really tripping on that. Like, as I started aging and taking my heritage seriously, I ain't no motherfucking entertainer, because I sit back and get entertained. So I was like, oh, that makes sense, source, right? So anyways, some of you can feel that same way. But yeah, it's multiple ways to get a bag. I'm not being no clown to get it. So there's that. I learned voodoo, or called Illuminati, before I entertain clowns. But yeah, lovers is the choice. It talks about trials. So while we talked about leveling up and heading into new challenges, here goes leveling up, new challenges, and possibly trials and tribulations that's going to test your faith, your desire, your individual quest. So you could be going through something, your partner ain't got shit to do with it, their karma ain't got shit to do with you, and then once y'all notice that, but it is affecting the entire relationship, do we point fingers? Like, what we do? Do we barbecue a mildew when we notice that, oh, you going through some 12-year, 7-year, 3-year karma, and I don't know if I want to experience that. Okay, and then for the singles that could be meeting someone in the near future, this serves as a warning that you could meet a person in your near future that has karmic debt or a lot of pressure over their head. You want that? Because it looked good though. It looked good. Empress, Emperor, Lovers. So I don't know. It talks about your relationships, it mirroring self-worth, your choices and decisions, and you needing to take one. So do you know which one that is today? What responsibility would you have to take based on your decision? Because you got responsibility right here, so you're going to have to take some. What needs to be combined, synthesized, or brought together? That's a good one. Because here they're separate. This is combined, or fuck it, just me. So it's a lot of things going on right here. That's interesting. So then, boom, since we talk about responsibility, we move to the Emperor. Aries, to be something, to know something, and to be capable of something is what endows a person with authority. Retain your inner balance now, and from the exhaustless riches of the limitless substance, you can draw all things needful, just like you started. But now you're just going to have to use logic and practical and set plans. And this said, don't say no, because the Empress right here, you too close to the Empress, and it say, don't plan nothing, expect a miracle. But you remember what I said, trying not to be a sexist. It's just Venus gonna give you some rose-colored glasses, and you might even have a couple more dollars during a Venus transit that's favorable for you. But I have experienced some Venus transits where the next couple of months was dry as fuck. And I'm not saying y'all gonna experience that, but just keep that in mind by being reasonable, logical, and mature about shit. Because some of y'all, it ain't just you. You got others. You got thoughts, ideas, goals, bills, kids, and or projects. But anyway, the Emperor is not the Hierophant. The Hierophant is a human being that's think they smart. Sometimes a prophet, sometimes ain't no telling. Because this day and age, I think the most connected to God are somewhere sitting trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, and they not sitting on no podium trying to convince people that they way is righteous. I don't know. It probably just depends on your natal chart, what type of personality you got. But most people that actually got God talking to them or with them is trying to figure out if they crazy and what's the fuck is going on. I think the Hierophant is somebody that just likes authority and control, but has its own religious beliefs or poverty ties, and don't want to be no big CEO of Fortune 500 company, but knows that you still get a bag being the owner of a non-profit. The government gonna pay you and the community gonna pay you, so you still get money, Hierophant. God governs the world by authority, not force. I think the Hierophant force people. The Emperor owes his authority not to his own power over human beings, but because he represents them before God. And that's what's up. This means that you are a leader, and of the collective, you're the representative. So if God came and said, what y'all been doing? Astronaut Hoochie, the collective, all of us, right? I'm supposed to step up, unless I hire one of y'all to be the Emperor, because I may not be the best Emperor. I don't know. But whoever the Emperor is going to step up and say, well, we've been doing this, that, and the other. So it's kind of like the Hierophant claims to be like, has this space with God, or I think it's just I think the Hierophant is just like an information gatherer and sharer. And if it's a good Hierophant, I feel that they're supposed to, if not bring you closer to God, use their capacity to help people, like healing the soul from lower vibrations, guilt, depression, shame. That's how you confess and repent and all that stuff. So a good Hierophant is supposed to be like a representation of God in his absence, right? The Emperor is the opposite. The Emperor is the leader of the collective that has the audacity and probably the invitation to speak on behalf of the people to God. And I think that's pretty fucking impressive either way. So I'm not trying to talk shit about the Hierophant. I'm just being a millennial and my bad. What I also like about the Emperor, as a person that's a part of certain fraternities and groups, and no, I'm not a dude, but some fraternities have female members, but still call it a fraternity because we can't be a sorority. So there's that. What I like about the Emperor is it represents a certain level of mastery, as well as God's likeness to have created humans, where it talks about writing your own constitution in Genesis 1:26. So some people that mastery get to go out and create their own collectives, like start a company like Jay-Z did Rock Nation, or like Master Farah Muhammad did with the Nation of Islam, or Martin Luther King started this movement for the fight. What is it? What do they call this stuff now? The foundationally Black Americans, the FBA. That's what they go by now. So once you get this level of you where you want to be, you go out and you preach your words or not. Some of you are going to be doing that, but you go through these phases or whatever. You are free to believe or not to believe, for nothing can compel you to have faith. Maybe this is where you at. You have not chosen what to do regarding the situation. It could be what you feel about life, earth, marriage, this woman, this man, God, spirituality, yourself. And you, for some reason, got the audacity to feel like you don't subscribe to whatever the Hierophant trying to sell anyway. Like, you don't have to pick and choose on their information. Maybe you set out to get your own because he does have a book in his hand. Anyway, recognize the power of society, its laws, and its authority to enforce those laws. Then order your thoughts and energies and seek stability as you allow yourself to experience wholeness and unity within yourself. You know what that means? That is Neo, either after he accepted the pill to go down the rabbit hole with Morpheus, or who he was in the last days before Morpheus popped up. He was in the world, he was at work, he knew something was wrong, but you can't bang your head against the wall, sleep under your bed, drink yourself to death, or give up. So it was kind of like still being what later became the one in a society where you ain't known as that yet. So I fuck with that. It's like not getting lost out there, but maintaining. You recognize what's going on, but it doesn't interfere with you. Like when I was in high school, it interfered with me because I was a child, but I was waking up to what was going on, and I had a bad attitude. I was defensive. I didn't trust adults that sat there and accepted lies, and I know they lies, and I know I'm smart, but y'all can't be that dumb, so you're not dumb, so you want to play with me because I'm a kid. But you know what I'm saying? Just angry and aggressive, because I knew something was wrong, and it was like some people in my environment just was not taking the urgency enough for me. But what comes with maturity, responsibility, your own personal authority, where you ain't kicking and screaming and crying out, like I said, on the podium on top of a rock, because you know that this is a play going on, and you being the main character is you are your own movie. The shit that's going outside of you is just props and fillers. That's what I feel like is a more mature approach to not being so responding to society. But the Emperor is power and authority, or attractive to many people. But for you, the archetype makes this serious business. You have a conventional desire for love and sex, with courtship and engagement, probably with an older but certainly an established mate. Okay, so for some of you, it is most definitely a new thing, a change in self, a new person, and we're talking about courtship, engagement. It's important. Having the Emperor is important, and that's all you want. So it could be something that ain't that coming up in the near future, or that you're entertaining right now, and the universe is asking you, are you aware of what you manifested? Because I can't send you this if you accept all these. If you won't, I don't, because it's not the math, right? So yeah, that is what I got. We've been going on for a long time, but I will say I was curious to pull if I had done a full spread, and this is what it would look like. I ain't gonna hold y'all, even though I'm sure you probably want me to. So if you want the extended, I will leave these cards on the table until tomorrow, and you can donate to the channel and get a personal extended reading, or just dig what I'm about to throw out right fast. Don't matter. All right. So when I talked about Archangel Raphael or the Seraph or how it moves, for those of you mystics that understand the Kabbalah, or if I have any of my brothers and sisters, Shalom, in the audience right now, how the Empress moves and the Seraph or whatever, we can talk about that another time, because that's more of like the mystics or whatever, and it just expresses the actual journey, right? The journey, what's crossing the Empress, the journey of the Empress. So you'd have to understand her journey, which if I was to break it down briefly, she represents like the daughter and the mother. She represents the goddess of love, beauty. It talks about ancient religions. Everybody fucks with her. She's abundance, compassion, sensuality, and the force that inspires us all to thrive and grow. Everything she touches flourishes. And if I had the Queen of Wands under her, baby, that's like the baddest wife. That's like, because the Queen of Wands is a wife that like caters to her dude, and she does it in a way that ain't pick me-ish. So for some of you guys, it's a dope ass fucking wife. For others of you, it just talks about your fertility and everything you touch, kind of like it's gonna be good. However, a new perspective may be required to move forward, or for you to cut something off, because the food is attached to the Empress by the umbilical cord. So it's about to be life itself, God, your perspective. Something is about to detach you from a thing that was nurturing you and grounding you. I don't care if that's the difference in an allowance you getting or some protection you got, because we got the King of Cups in the environment. So for some, the King of Cups represents business. The Emperor does as well. And I feel that there is something that could be removed and or a new process that could be implemented. The Nine of Coins says single independent woman. So somebody definitely trying to weigh up, increase, scaling, relationship status, because what's crowning you is your intelligence or just your ability to receive. She has her hand out with the blindfold. The sword is up. I do think the Queen of Swords could definitely take on the Emperor, which if the Emperor was your past and your strength talks about your intelligence, your diligence, like the way that you don't react to life and you are smart and wise and don't play games. If I had a reading where my focus was on decision making and my strength was the Queen of Swords, I think you're going to be absolutely fine. But it may be a head over heart sort of situation, because you got your heart in the environment, which could be foolish. And this is how you have two roads to take. The decisions that you have to make, one is going to get you this, which is the money. This one going to get your ass cut off, or a lesson, or you're gonna next step is the Magician. So the decision that you make next is going to get you to one step or 4 steps down the hill. I don't know, because if you go 4 steps down the hill, that may come with some responsibilities and a spotlight, and I hope you're ready for it, right? And going 1 step further is totally okay, because you're not going back. You know, you're going 1 step further. In the near future, you got the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands most definitely represents like a dope wife. It also represents the what does you call it? The business flourishing or whatever, because she's better at being an entrepreneur, I think, than the Emperor and the King of Wands. I'm not gonna hold you, and we can have a strong discussion about it if you'd like to. She's also the grandmother. So if the Empress is the mother and the Queen of Wands is like the grandmother, it gives like Saturn for me. And I don't know what's, oh, I just said Saturn and Scorpio. Ooh, damn, Saturn and Scorpio. What is that? The mystics. Ooh, so for some of you, it's like you got the best fucking guide or source for what, oh, that would help. So your guide is going to help you understand your soul purpose, because each of them have a fucking mission. Oh my God, I just learned something new. I never looked into that. I never said, what does Michael, Ralph, Ricky, Bobby, hey, because you got Uriel at the beginning. You got the Seraph or Raphael here. And it's like, what do they what is their end goal? Like, what is their message? Some of you probably do sit and have studied that. I never questioned it. I know how Michael got his sword. And he was like a leader of an army. I do know that. And then that's still like under God's army though, because I didn't hear the Seraph or Raphael as being like under anybody. It's like Raphael is this independent energy that comes to you and guides you through something start to finish. It didn't say God gave Raphael this to do this for you like it does Michael. No disrespect. I mean, I'm sure everybody upper echelon. Okay, so don't trip. But this is very interesting, and I probably would sit with that for my own personal growth to see, because it's like if you have a guide that comes up in all of your readings, or you ask a question and get that in a reading, that guide has a specific whatever ray, because there's like a bunch of rays, and each archangel, each ascended master, they all help with a particular thing. And whichever one you intuitively feel is guiding you, or whichever one actually is guiding you, has something to do with your purpose. So it is no question. You don't have to keep starting loop projects and odd jobs and starting over and starting over and starting over. And then for some of you who are going to be priests and priestesses, it's like if you trying to manifest a husband and shit, I don't think if you get those protective cards all the time, or like Kali Ma, I don't really think they just like a strict parent. And see, this could even be a strict mom, because I heard Venus and her son did some inappropriate shit in Greek mythology. So some of y'all gonna be single as fuck because of y'all mama. Others of you guys, it could be overprotective energy, and it could go multiple ways. You are for protective, and they find attraction with someone who's more, cater to you, right? Because you got mom bod, no disrespect. And then others, now it's like 3 women. Oh my God, you got the Queen of Swords. Oh, is this like Maiden, Mother, Crown, the trifecta, the Trinity? Who Trinity chose was the one. Trinity represents love. Love is the Holy Spirit. So if the Holy Spirit choose you, then you are about to go on this journey like Neo did, to find the truth about who, God, I don't know, and to be released or get some sort of increase. And this is a whole thing. So I'm going to put it right there. You saw it. I will not keep going. We're going to be talking for like 2 hours, but I might do an extended once I look into the archangels and then send the masters and the directions. But this was good. This was good. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos. Until next time.